Hi guys, good morning, afternoon, and evening. So today I want to talk about the introduction part of philosophy of history written by George William Hegel. And in this book, he categorizes, three branches of our study of history. And the first branch is the original history. By original history, Hegel means we honestly record what has happened in the past, we see something has happened, we just jot it down. We serve as a honest camera without any, subjective bias. So the second branch is the reflective history. By that I mean we, you know, utilize theory to conceptualize history. And we see something happened. Not only we just record it, but also we summarize this happening, and and make it into some pattern so that we can make further prediction based on our empirical observation. And in the reflective history part, he further divides this history into four schools. The first is the universal history. By that I mean we indifferently summarizes summarize history, and we do not divide history by nations, by ethnicity, or by other branches, but we make history as a oneness, and we take it as a whole to record it. Another is pragmatical history. And by pragmatical history, Hegel means we, make some moral lessons based on history. And the third one is the critical history. The critical history is the criticism of our history study. Like we know that people see things from different perspectives, but we want to figure out which way is correct and which is wrong. Those we reflect history very critically, and we want to, study the study of history. And the fourth is the specialized methods of history, like we study history of a nation, history of a specific art, or history of a religion, stuff like that. So the first is original history, the second is reflective history, and in the reflective history, Hegel subdivides into four branches, which is universal history, pragmatical history, critical study of history, and the specialized methods of the study of history. I still rely on my note to, recount what I learned today. And the third school of history of study is philosophical history, according to George William Hegel. And philosophical history is the thoughtful consideration of our, philosophical history. And Hegel considers history as a history of some rationality, of some spirits, and of some, reasons. So this is how we understand history. Hegel want to study the study of our understanding of history. And let me quote a part real quick. So, philosophical history supplies its own nourishment and is the object of its own operations, while it's exclusively its own basis of existence and absolute final aim. It's also the energizing power realizing this aim, developing it not only in the phenomena of the natural, but also the spiritual universe, the history of the world, that this idea or reason is the true, the eternal, and the absolutely powerful essence, that it reveals itself in the word, that in that word nothing else is revealed but this, and its honor and glory is the thesis, which, as we have said, has been proved in the philosophy and is here regarded as demonstrated. So this is how he understands our spirit of history. By spirit, I mean the oneness of our universe, like I am you, you are me, right? As I mentioned yesterday. And then he talks about spirit and he mentions 3 points of our spirit. The first character is spirit has rational freedom. So spirit is free, but spirit can also think about his or her own freedom, and he makes decision based on his freedom and also his rationality. Then he talks about the human aspect of our spirit. Human is also a part of a more general spirit part. So human has the power to actualize its spirit. By actualization, it builds on its own civilization. And human has, a very energizing subjective power, and also they don't conform to the universal laws. Like human has the ability to, construct the world based on their subjectivity. So then he talks about the union of subjectivity and objectivity. As I said, human do not necessarily have to conform the law of the universe, but at a certain point, they got to reunion together. They gotta, build a union of subjectivity and objectivity, and human has to finally realize we got to conform to the universal law, and we got to abide by God's will, so to speak. So how do we achieve this union? Hegel mentions state. By state, he means the entirety of culture and government. So in this state, spirit realizes itself in particular forms. Like if I'm a citizen of a state, then I realize I'm a spirit who can actually, establishes its own existence, but at the same time, I got to conform to a state's law, right? So in the state, every citizen represents a spirit, but this spirit has the actual power to, reform a state as a whole, And then he talks about the course of spirit. So a spirit is not, stable. It's not, dead. So it's got to move, change, and transform, and finally decline. And after its death, it's got reincarnated into another spirit, and through this method it develops, and also it changes its form, based on the state's will. And yeah, that's it. This is what I learned today. I hope you all enjoy it. 好的，今天我们再来讲一下黑格尔的历史哲学。这本书叫《黑格尔历史哲学》。好，在今天的讲座里，我主要会讲它的 introduction， 也就是简介的内容。黑格尔把历史学科分成了3个历史，一个是 original history， 就是原始的历史，就是人们原封不动的把之前发生的记载下来，人们就像一个照相机 camera 一样，就 record all the things that has happened, right? And 第二个 branch 是 reflective history， 就是反思的历史。我们运用自己的理性来反思总结历史，并且根据这些总结，我们做出相应的推断和判断。 right? And 在 reflective history 里面，黑格尔继续把它分成了4个小层，一个是 universal history。universal history 就是我们学习历史，把历史看成一个整体，我们没有继续把历史细分，比如说画成中国的历史、西方的历史，这样我们把历史看作一个整体，这是 universal history 的重点。第二个是 pragmatical history， 也是道德的历史。道德历史就是我们根据前人的经验来研发一套自己的道德体系，这就是道德的历史。比如说我们看到了古人的一个古训，然后我们就学习把它继承了下来，演变成我们自己的道德体系。第三个是 critical history。critical history 就是我们批判性的研究历史的研究，这个能听明白吗？就是我们研究各个国家、各个民族、各个意识形态对历史的研究，然后我们会有自己的一个判断，哪些历史是站得住脚的，哪些历史是纯粹是在胡扯的。然后最后一个是历史研究的细分类的研究，比如说研究某个艺术的历史，研究某种宗教的历史，研究某个区域的历史，这就是具体的历史研究。好了，我们说了黑格尔把这个历史分成了3个大支，然后在第2支里面有4个小支。第一个大支是 original history， 第2个大支是 reflective history。然后在 reflective history 里边，黑格尔把它分成了 universal history, pragmatical history, critical history, and the specialized methods of history study。然后我们再来讲第3个大支，就是黑格尔着重强调的，也是他信奉的，就是哲学历史 philosophical history。 哲学历史是什么呢？用英文讲就是 a thoughtful consideration of philosophical history， 就是黑格尔认为历史是形而上的，历史是一个思考体系，然后他就想研究这个思考体系，用他的话来讲就是 spirit 它的演化过程。然后 spirit 它不仅仅是一种抽象的东西，它也可以用它的力量来 actualize 我们的现实发生。比如说我是一个人，我有了思想，我就会改造这个世界，对吧？然后在 introduction 的 second half 里面，他着重研究了 spirit 是一个有理性的自由体，一个是有理性，一个是自由体。它不光是自由，但它不是散漫的自由，它会有自己的理性来支撑它的这种自由选择，懂了吗？第2个，他在 spirit part 里面谈到的是人类的力量，因为人类他有自己的主观性，他不一定要完全的符合这种宇宙的定律。比如说宇宙让谁死谁就死，但是人他就有这种判断的、研究的、思考的能力，所以他就会用一些方法来改善自己的处境，或者让自己的处境更糟糕，懂了吧？然后第3个方面，他就研究了主观和客观的结合，这个结合是很重要的。这个我们在下一个视频里会讲。